Happy Black Friday, everyone, and hope everyone had a fun and safe Thanksgiving. If you are still celebrating your Thanksgiving week, or however you call it, safe travels or whichever. Nonetheless, Turkey Day behind us, and Black Friday, and shopping and sales for a lot of people is upon all of us right now. So, uh, nonetheless, thank you for joining me on this AEW Dynamite review for Wednesday. Wednesday's edition, which was the start of the AEW Continental Classic. 3 very good opening matches. You had Swerve versus Jay Lethal, Bruce versus Jay White, and Jon Moxley versus Mark Briscoe. 3 opening matches that were very good and very telling for as a sign of a good tournament going forward. This is the first because AEW, this is our first time doing a round robin style tournament, not a one and done tournament style, which we have seen loads of on AEW. So yeah, this, granted it's another tournament, but it's a different style tournament. In a way, for Bryan Danielson, for years we have talked about Bryan Danielson in G1, but he even has mentioned this year that him being in G1 with his injury history is probably not the best idea. So, instead, Bryan Danielson, part of this tournament, which has a very good field. I'll bring up the blocks right now, because one of the criticisms I had for Full Gear was that we only had a handful of participants announced so far for the tournament, and I think many could agree. But day before, or before Dynamite, Tony Khan and Tony Schiavone had a segment set up where they went through the fields and they announced who's going to be a tournament. So there's 2 leagues, blue and gold, and I imagine, just to set up for the first tournament, I imagine if they do it again next year, then we may have another league or two. Because, the AEW roster, is huge and could definitely benefit from it. Just as a free flow of things. So, like I said, blue and gold leagues. And so, among the field in the blue league, we have Brody King, A. Kingston, Daniel Garcia, Bryan Danielson, Claudio Castagnoli, and Andrade El Idolo. So, that's a hell of a 6 already. And then for the gold league, you got Mark Briscoe, Roosh, Swerve Strickland, Jon Moxley, Jay White, and Jay Lethal. So yeah, hell of a gold league as well. And how the tournament works is everyone will face, according to the rules, everyone will face everyone in their league. 3 points for a win, 1 point for a draw, and the two top competitors, or two competitors with the most points in their respective leagues on the Dynamite before World's End, will face off in semifinals, and then the winners of both leagues will face off at World's End. So there you go. But yes, so we got those three matches of the Gold League on Wednesday, and then on Collision, we got two matches from the Blue League: Brody King versus Eddie Kingston, and Daniel Garcia versus Claudio. But I mean, just looking off the bat, the amount of good matches that's going to escalate over a number of weeks. I mean, Brody King versus Eddie Kingston versus Bryan versus Claudio versus Andrade. Kingston versus Bryan versus Claudio. Again, Andrade. I mean, geez. And, we got a taste of the Gold League on Wednesday. But, Swerve versus Moxley. Swerve versus Jay White. I mean, Jay White versus Mox. I mean, yeah. We're going to get some fun outings in the tournament, which I like. And, yeah, the inaugural tournament, like I said, if they do it again, I imagine more fields and more competition, which will only provide improvement and better for the company or the roster. The other thing was the guy behind MJF's Devil Mask. We did get a little bit of an inkling again on Wednesday, as MJF and Adam Cole were in the ring. And for those who mentioned, and I saw it, but yeah. People notice it. It's like Adam Cole reached his pocket and then something clicked, literally, and then we see guy in MJF's mask laugh. So, chuckling, and there you go. So, I mean, something's amiss. And then, speaking of World's End, MJF will defend, as we expected, in his hometown of New York. Will face Samoa Joe for the AEW World Championship, in which Adam Cole coasted MJF into accepting, because being a man of his word, after Samoa Joe helped MJF on Saturday at Full Gear. So yeah. But I mean, for World's End, something's gotta be amiss, whether it's a title change, we get a reveal behind the mask, something. Just feel like something's gotta be up. So yeah, we'll see. But anyways, yeah, Dynamite was fun. And before we get into, if you could subscribe, click that subscription. Help out the video, help out me. But yeah, I enjoyed Dynamite very much. Rewatching it, It's like Wednesday at work. Yesterday was Thanksgiving. And then after all the turkey and whatnot, watching over a very good edition of AEW Dynamite. So, yeah. So, Dynamite started off with the Continental Classic as was that hell of a start. So we got Swerve Strickland coming off that violent and brutal Texas death match versus Hangman Page at Full Gear. Starting off the tournament in grand fashion for Jay Lethal. And another kicker about this tournament is everyone's banned from ringside. So, no Mogul Embassy, no Jay Lethal's crew of Jeff Jarrett and company. So, frustrating to see a Jay Lethal match again, one-on-one. And this fun for Swerve. Two of the best in the best today. But yeah, Swerve showing his scars from Full Gear. His shoulder was heavily bandaged, but didn't stop him from this match. But Lethal took advantage of that for a good amount of this match. Target shoulder hit Suicida to the outside. Send Swerve into the barricade. Swerve then, even the odds, he went after the left knee of Lethal throughout this match, kind of, shoulder for the knee. But, yeah, there was very good back and forth. Looked like, so there was one spot which I liked before the break. It looked like Swerve was going for his leaping flatliner, but Lethal caught him and landed a shoulder breaker on the injured shoulder, so that was a good spot going to break. And then, excuse me, so yeah, Swerve got off big amount of offense back from break. His superplex out of the corner, and then followed a flatliner brainbuster combination for a near fall. Swerve went for a figure four, but to stick it to Jay Lethal, but Lethal countered for two. Lethal landed a beautiful reverse suplex on Swerve, and then had to get some height for this one, but landed a top rope elbow on Swerve for a near fall. Lethal then, still favoring the knee, went for the lethal injection, but great job by Swerve. He kicked out the injured knee of Lethal, followed the last call, kick to the side of the head, followed a Swerve stomp on Lethal. 1, 2, 3, and Swerve gets the first 3 points on the board for the tournament here. So, good stuff. Yeah, hell of a way to start the tournament, and definitely a refreshing way. It's also good because guys like Swerve, you want to keep the momentum going. You know, we're going to get Swerve for Moxley, as I mentioned. We're going to get Swerve for Mox, Swerve versus Roosh, Swerve versus Jay White. That's going to be a tough task. But all in all, if I had to pick early on how this feel, just who I would like to see, in the finals at World's End. See a rematch between Bryan and Swerve, or you see Bryan versus Jay White, which would be a hell of a match too. If I had to guess how this feel, but it's gonna be interesting. So then we saw Orange Cassidy, Shibata, and Hook. They were all backstage. And Renee Paquette wanted to ask him some questions, but were you to chime in on the fray and interrupted and took shots at all of them, nonchalantly congratulated Cassidy for being Moxley at Full Gear. Still has beef with Hook and Shibata over the Ring of Honor Pure title. So yeah, we'll see how. Obviously, a match is ensured for the Ring of Honor Pure title for them. Nobody status on Ring of Honor titles on AEW, so yep. Orange said he had an answer, but Renee said we're out of time. So, yep. MJF and Adam Cole. They were out there. So the injury, quote unquote, that was for Full Gear was the, I would say, thigh or hamstring or quad of MJF. And there's a rumor after that MJF actually hurt his or banged up his shoulder, perhaps, or something in the match with Jay White, which, I mean, who really knows? But, hopefully he's not too banged up. Like we mentioned, if MJF doesn't wrestle till World's End, then that's good on us. But, so they were out there. So, Adam Coleman, how they're still the Ring of Honor Tag Team Champions, Tony's glad out there, but said he's also worried for MJF. Talking about guys like Wardlow in the back, coming for his head, coming for his title. I also talked about, the guy in the devil mask and his goons going after MJF. And MJF, shrug it off. telling the guy in the devil mask that, he's going to make hell feel like heaven. And, he said some more stuff. And then all of a sudden we see Adam Cole nod his head. And all of a sudden he reaches his pocket and something. All of a sudden the lights go out. And then we see the guy in the devil mask starts laughing and chuckling on screen. So then they're like looking like all concerned or something in the ring. Then all of a sudden we see Samoa Joe's music hit. So Joe trots out there, mentions how MJF has had a great full gear, that with the help of his less adequate friend Adam Cole, he retained for Jay White, but mentioned how early tonight he also defended the Ring of Honor Tag Team titles with the help of Samoa Joe. So Joe then said he was just out there to see if MJF was a man of his word and giving him another shot at the AEW World title. So MJF said he thought about it long and hard and has come up with a fair response. I didn't hear because it was bleeped out, but clearly Joe didn't like it, and he was JF up against the ropes, looked like he was going to choke him, and then Adam Cole fended him off, saying, let me talk to him, please. And then Joe let off, and then Cole said, I get it, but you promised this man a world title shot, and your response is what the old MJF would do, but that's not what the new MJF would do, because you gave this man your word. And he said, I get it, fights with Joe have been some of the hardest of my career. And I've been choked out more times than I can count. So at the end, he basically said, this is who you are, and show you're a man of your word. So in the end, MJF offered that a match right here, right now, against Samoa Joe for the world title. And Joe said, absolutely not. Because then he said, because tomorrow, he bitch and moan saying that you are not 100% and said, I don't want this you. I want GMJF you say you are or think you are. So then he suggested, well, I bet you'll be healthy by World's End, December 30th. So then MJF said, well, you're on. And Samoa Joe said, well, now you're like my property, and when it comes to my property, no one touched my property. So when it comes to it, I'll have your back until December 30th. That, excuse me, say that when you think you're alone, I'll be 3 steps back. But when it comes to December 30th, I'm going to beat your ass. I'm going to strangle you and take your title. Yep. This segment, so they shook hands and yeah, this was very good segment. Very good segment. We got little tides of everything. MJF Joe. That promise that was felt. The guy in the devil mask. We got a little conclusion. Do we see a reveal December 30th? That is question. We'll see. But this had a bunch of different ties to it, and definitely love it, especially with how real Joe feels. When he's on the mic and how the legitimacy he certainly brings. And appreciate it. Matt Menard, Angelo Parker, and Jake Hager. They faced Hook, Shibata, Orange Cassidy. This was pretty academic. Apparently Hook or Danhausen made his return. He didn't curse Jake Hager, but he took the hat that apparently Jake Hager gave up to Chris Jericho. So, felt more of theatrics, not much here. In the end, Red Room, chokehold by Shibata. Ultimately, Parker tapped out and they got the win. Shibata once again there. He does feel, more legitimate, when you see him fight and wrestle. But yeah, this match kind of felt like it does suck because you want to see more of Menard and Parker, but it is what it is. Next up, so Adam Cole, he was back there. So Renee Paquette, she was in back trying to get a word in with that. Excuse me. So all of a sudden we see here, Adam, Adam. So yeah, the Kingdom and Roger Strong, they were backstage. They talked to Adam, said, sorry for missing you at Full Gear, but he said See what happened on Friday? When Action Andretti, which I saw the spot, so apparently on Rampage, Action Andretti, there's a spot for him to do a Spanish fly on Roderick Strong. But I'm guessing there was a mistiming. Indian Roddy landed on his head, his neck, but luckily he's okay. Should be after that, but yeah, they finished the match, and yeah. So he's talking about Cole, what was that? Why were you there Friday? I need you. You tried to hurt my neck. And then Cole was irate. He told Roddy to get through your sick skull that I'm not your best friend anymore. Said to leave him alone. So then, trot off with his crutches, and then Roddy can tell is upset. And he told Taven Bennett, doesn't mean that, doesn't mean that. Yeah, I'd say devilish behavior by Adam Cole to Roddy Strong. Think we can fairly say, if not, more frustrating behavior between the two. Next up, Christian Cage and Luchasaurus, Nick Wayne. So they were all out there. Cage, by the way, has a new Titantron, which, yeah, I think is hilarious. Quite hilarious. And definitely looks better than his previous one. So, Christian, we could tell, was visibly upset from the outcome of the match on Full Gear. He stated how he did not lose that match. How Nick Wayne did not lose that match. But Luchasaurus lost that match. So we could tell he's visibly angry and told Luchasaurus to get down on one knee. And yeah, you can tell he was resisting, but eventually Luchasaurus got down on one knee. Talked about how to call them his children and told them to reshape them in his image. So he said for Luchasaurus, well, you are my finisher. And you're going to have a chance to prove it on Saturday. So he said that he's no longer will be called Luchasaurus. but he'll now be known as Kill Switch because that's the name of Chris Gage's finish. So there you go. So then he went over to Nick Wayne, and you can tell Nick Wayne was certainly grinning and stuff. So he said that Nick Wayne is his golden boy and say now Nick Wayne will be known as the prodigy Nick Wayne. So then we saw Nick Wayne's mom trot out and Christian was like, "What is your mother doing here?" This is that. So his mother was trying to reason with Nick, and Nick wasn't having it, and then Christian Cage, started bashing her. Saying that you didn't do a good job providing for him, saying that you made $40,000 as a waitress, saying that you should leave now, clock in for your shift. It's about to start. I mean, kept saying that if you played your cards right, things would be different, but that's another story for a different day. So told her to leave, get out of his ring. Luchasaurus then stepped in front of Nick Wayne's mom, which I think her name, they said, was Shayna, in between Christian Cage and Luchasaurus. So Christian told now Kill Switch, to get on his knees again. So he told So once again, Christian was getting upset, and Christian ended up smacking Luchasaurus in the face, and then all of a sudden they get into it, and Nick Wayne's mom, who's behind Luchasaurus or Kill Switch, Excalibur was having issues with it. But Nick Wayne's mom got bashed up against the ropes and she fell down. And then Taz like, go to your mother, make sure she's okay. So Chris Cage was ordering Nick Wayne to get something. So they got a couple chairs. And then at first, Christian looked like he was going to give Nick Wayne's mom a concerto. Then he ordered Kill Switch to do the concerto to excuse me. But then he was trying to go for the concerto, but he was struggling. So then all of a sudden we hear Al Copeland's music hit. May have been a bit too long, but he was up there, saved Nick Wayne's mom. Christian kill switch, fled, and Al Copeland could see him. He was seething with anger. He hit a spear on Nick Wayne, followed Impaler DT, and then in front of his mother. That's the kicker. They're like, he's blinded by Christian Cage, not seeing that his mother's in the corner. He hit a concerto on Nick Wayne, and Christian Cage was like, that's my child. That's my child. And then, yeah, it was pretty hilarious at the end. But yeah, we can see bits of the Radar Superstar from Adam Copeland. Anna Jay, Jake Hager, Angelo Parker, and Matt Menard, they were all backstage. Matt Menard, we can tell he was pissed about the events of the trios match earlier. How things are going. But Jay, she was pissed as well with how dysfunction their family is going. She's like, I'm going to focus on myself. So Renee asked me what everyone asked me. So, yeah, she said she's going to go on the triple threat and do it by herself. So, Parker, we can see, was a bit distracted as Ruby Soho, again, that on-screen romance between the two. See, she was on his home screen. It's like, yeah, family comes first. So, yep. Then the second of three very good Continental Classic matches on Wednesday. Roosh versus Jay White. When I say these guys beat the crap out of each other, they beat the crap out of each other. Great to see. Great to see that Roosh is in it. Great to see that Jay White, again, may be the favorite to win this thing. Yep, this was a fun match. Many chops back and forth. Many chops. So, Roosh, of course, started on the edge for a while. Threw White into a barricade a bubble of times on the outside. I had some big chops back and forth. Roosh and this was really when White got the advantage. Threw Roosh with an overhead into turnbuckle and then got a near fall out of it. Roosh followed up with a brainbuster for a near fall, and then White caught combo with his own offense, and then a brainbuster of his own. Excuse me. So then, Roosh came firing off the ropes. White caught with a big Uranagi for a near fall. A lot of chops back and forth, Tell how bruised White's chest was. Oh, this is fun. So White getting to the finish. So excuse me. So Roosh got advantage from what happened earlier, as he threw Jay White into the turnbuckle. He went for the bull's horns corner drop kick, but White intercepted. Then referee got involved. Back was turned. White took advantage, hit a low blow, followed a Blade Runner. 1, 2, 3, and Jay White gets a win, gets a victory. And White gets 3 points in this tournament. So there you go. So I like the attention detail as Jay White was out there with the guns. Again, unfortunately, Juice, still injured. But referee was like, this is the rules. Yeah. Guns are barred from ringside. So there you go. But yeah, hell of a second match. I mean, to me, this felt like the main event over Moxley and Briscoe, but which was so fun. But yeah, these two definitely nailed it for this match. Showed highlights after the post-show media scrum of Full Gear. So after the media scrum of Jericho, Big Bill and Ricky Starks chimed in. And of course, Chris Jericho and Omega won the match against the Bucks on Saturday to get a title shot for tag team titles. So, go figure, talking to Bill and Starks, and they had a choice of words, and then Bill said to Jericho, see you soon, Chris. And then showed them ambushing Chris Jericho on the back after an interview with Lexi Nair, or bad words. So there you go. For those who didn't see the post-show media scrum, I encourage you to watch it. It was hilarious. It was good. With Ospreay, with Big Bill, with Jericho, with, Ricky Starks. I mean, it was hilarious. Toni Storm, her acceptance speech. So, Toni Storm was out there. So, she won the AEW Women's Championship for the 3rd time against Hikaru Shida at Full Gear. Was an okay match. So she had her acceptance speech as very, awards show I mean, RJ City was out there. Renee Paquette was out there. presenting the AEW Championship. Again, awards show like said the winner is Timeless Toni Storm. She lost the shoe, but she was there with her butler, Luther, and it was hilarious. Maya May, she was back. She presented her with the AEW Women's Championship. Funny stuff there. So, Toni Storm, she thanked Tony Khan, she thanked one of the members of Warner Discovery, one of the executives, and the music played and said she's not done. And then she was like, thank you to all the little Toni Storms out there who want to be me. Yeah. Short, but it was fun. Did what it needed to. So, good stuff. So we got Skye Blue versus Ruby Soul versus Anna Jay. How much here? I will say I wasn't. You could kind of see who was going to win this match. You know, Ruby Soul, they haven't done anything with Skye Blue. A little bit of something. She lost that surprisingly good TBS title three-way match with Sat and Julia Hart on Saturday, which, you know, again, congrats to Julia Hart. Did not see. Maybe we see her on Saturday. Chris Statlander. But I mean, yeah, this was. Anyway, this was fun match between three ladies, but you know, still building that theatrical a bit as building that romance between Ruby Soul and Angelo Parker. Yeah, and then Soraya was there. Menard was there as well. You know, they were not happy. Voiced their frustrations. You know, this whole dissension. Nonetheless, and Jay lost. Cutter by Skye Blue for the win. So, cool stuff there. Yeah, can Wardlow, he was backstage. Renee Paquette tried to get a word in, but AR Fox, you know, interrupted. Talking about his issues with Darby, bring up on his issues with MJF. Wardlow said he doesn't need to be taking advice from the likes of you. So, basically gave Fox a big headbutt and chuckled and walked off. So, Wasn't much here, but Wardlow. Feel like also he may have something to say about this match at World's End with MJF and Samoa Joe. Certainly something to say. We'll see. Main events: Mark Briscoe versus Jon Moxley. This was also, as you expect, a fun match, fairly similar to Jay White and Roosh, but not as good. So it was fun. So, but Mark got a very good flurry of offense in this thing. It was on the attack. By a neck breaker to Moxley on the outside. You, of course, you know, cringe a little, worry a little because of what happened with Moxley in his match with Roosh. But luckily, it's okay after. Mox followed a big boot that sent Mark to the outside. Mark all of a sudden was busted open. Mox's superplex in the break. But coming back, Mox hit a pile driver for a near fall. Looks like he was going for a lariat, but Mark caught him with an exploder. Mox, it's similar. But caught with an exploder for a near fall. Mark then hit a death out driver fall with a froggy bow off the top for a 2. Mox hit a lariat fall with a Death Rider DT, but Mark kicked out. I will say, someone who should not be kicking out a Death Rider, I think, is Mark Briscoe, but hey, call me there. Good finish, but again, some more back and forth. Sending strikes back and forth. Mox got the advantage, hit a curb stomp, followed another Death Rider. 1, 2, 3. Mark ain't kicking out of 2. And Moxley finish up the night with 3 points. So Moxley, Swerve, and Jay White all have 3 points thus far. Good stuff. So yeah, we'll see. Right outcomes. So we got over a month to go in this tournament, which will be fun to see. Yeah, we still got the Blue League starting with 2 very good matches in their own right with Eddie Kingston and Brody King and Daniel Garcia and Claudio on Saturday. So, interesting stuff. Looking forward to it. Yeah, the last time I saw a tournament like this was the Bound for Glory series. If you remember for TNA. When, they had those number of participants, it was like 7 points for, it was like 7 points for a pinfall, 10 for a submission, 5 for a count out or something. And then there'd be like these, it would like go for a few months, and there would be like these specialty matches that'd be like worth up to 20 points. I mean, yeah. Anywho, yeah, I'm liking this tournament thus far, and it's only gonna get more intriguing and again meaningful television. It's way to build the next month of television as we gear towards World's End. So, and I definitely imagine this won't be the last tournament or the last Continental Classic. Good stuff. So, thank you guys. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll see you guys tomorrow or probably Sunday or Monday for Collision. But nonetheless, you guys will get a review sometime in the next couple days. So keep your eyes open for that. But adios. I'm Angelo. Till love. See you guys soon. Peace. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you guys.